Here's exactly why I invested £3,500 in cryptocurrencies in 2021. So cryptocurrencies have been huge news right now, and many investors are really excited by what they saw last year with the massive price increases in the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, and what that might actually potentially mean moving ahead into 2021 with another year of cryptocurrencies steadily gaining more and more popularity. So as I said, cryptocurrencies is really big news right now, and so for that reason we're going to be covering 3 videos this week. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so that way when the videos are uploaded you won't miss out. And there's a lot to talk about, of course. I'm going to be sharing with you my journey with investing in cryptocurrencies and hopefully being able to enlighten you onto what the world of cryptocurrency is actually about and the possibilities of cryptocurrencies as well. So why on earth did I invest £3,500 into cryptocurrencies? Well, number one, I just want to cover a really big point, and that is I believe that diversification is absolutely key. There was actually a time when I had a large amount of money just sitting in a savings account because that was just all I knew at the time, and really I didn't actually know that I was potentially losing a lot of money by my money literally just sitting in a bank account because of something called inflation. Now, just to briefly explain what inflation is defined as a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. So, for example, 2021 right now, and with £1 we can go to the shop and buy a loaf of bread. However, in the year of 2030, if we were to go to the shop, the exact same loaf of bread is now actually worth £3. So as we can see, the price has rose of the bread, but also at the same time, what we used to be able to get with £2 can no longer get us the £3 bread. So hopefully a pretty easy concept to understand. So for me personally, when I realised this matter of inflation, I actually realised that having all my money held up in cash is actually really risky. And that's when I really learned about being able to diversify my portfolio into different areas so that, for example, if inflation got really out of control, and this has happened throughout history and in some nations where the value of money has literally lost so much of its purchasing power that people would have to go around with wheelbarrows with cash in there just to buy simple loaves of bread, for example, as we've talked about. And that might sound crazy, but there was an actual time in history where that did happen, and sometimes history does have the tendency to repeat itself with things losing value or inflation getting out of control. Now, before I ever invested in cryptocurrencies, there are other areas that I've invested in to diversify my portfolio. For example, equity, so we're looking at stocks and shares, or even funds that we invest our money into. Covered videos on that up here. But then also there are other areas that we can invest in, like property. There are areas that we can invest in, such as precious metals, and of course, one of those is cryptocurrencies. For example, cryptocurrencies have now been around for a while, since 2009, and it's really recently seemed to be able to get a lot of trust and credibility and respect because lots of institutional investors, so we're seeing large hedge fund managers, for example, now investing small percentages of their portfolio into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, for example, because that way they are actually being able to diversify their portfolio and have an asset that really has the potential to grow very much in the long term. And with cryptocurrencies, it's pretty hard to ignore the fact right now that it is very much a case of a serious potential asset class. It's not really to be underlooked. And if we are to, for example, see the actual price difference of Bitcoin throughout the last couple of years, we can see that actually it really does potentially have the room for a lot of growth in the fact that it is, of course, decentralized, and also the fact that there is a limited quantity of Bitcoin. I like the fact that it's not possible to go ahead and print more Bitcoin, because that's exactly what causes inflation in the first place. For example, what we're seeing with a lot of our countries printing trillions, billions out of actual money. And this is the thing that I really like about Bitcoin. Its potential to have a limited supply. In that way, it really is something that could potentially hold its value. And that is why gold is seen as something that is typically quite valuable because, for example, with gold, it's something that's rare And you know, anything that's in scarce supply and has a nice demand for it is something that can hold its value and potentially increase in price as well. I don't know what's going to happen to Bitcoin, but I'm more than happy to invest a very, very small amount of my portfolio. The reason specifically for the £3,500 is because this is the amount that I'm happy to put into the market, and if it goes up, then absolutely amazing. It's a happy day for myself, but at the same time, if it does go down, it's only a very, very small percentage of my portfolio that I'd be happy to lose entirely. So with the crazy low interest rates that you do get from savings account, I think that the ability to actually be able to put something into an asset like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies that have a long-term growth potential is a really, really cool idea, especially for the fact that money in a savings account is pretty much losing money to inflation. Now, full disclaimer, I just want to say that everything in this video is not financial advice. These are just my opinions. These are just things that I'm doing personally. I'm just sharing my results, my thoughts really on what I think about Bitcoin. So are you invested in cryptocurrencies? Let me know. Are cryptocurrencies something that you trust? Do you think that they have a future in our society? Do you think that investing now will actually result in good profits in the long term? What are some of the down points that you think about Bitcoin? Do you think that it's not secure? Do you think that it's actually just a short-term thing? Let me know, and the reasons why. I'd love to actually open up a discussion in the comments. And I'm pretty sure as well that we're going to see lots of those crazy little spam bots in the comments. If you guys do see in the comments any videos that are like mimicking me or like saying to you know, give you some WhatsApp number to invest in Bitcoin, then do not. So that is it for the rest of this video. Do look out for the next videos that we're going to have in the week on Wednesday and Friday, because we're going to be covering a few other key areas to consider before going into Bitcoin and some crazy alternatives to Bitcoin coming up this week. So let's go ahead and hit the like button if you really enjoyed this video. That's it for the rest of the day, and hope to see you in the next one. See you later, guys.